Would you roast your son, please? Our first roaster, Judy Dubrow.
I think one of the first things that you have to realize about Rick is that he takes after me in many ways. And one of the ways that's primo is he's very cheap. He's so cheap that he doesn't give Cindy any money to bring food onto the table. So she had to turn her whole backyard into a veggie garden. And this poor girl works hours, back-breaking hours, to take care of that garden so that she can put food on the table and feed that sweetheart. Not many of you know that we've always been very much involved in boating. So when Rick and Ron were very young, they didn't join the Boy Scouts, they joined the Sea Rangers. And during the summer, oh God, I don't even remember how old they were, 9, 10, they went to Sea Ranger camp. And they came home with their sleeping bags packed with all the dirt that could possibly come from this park. But they were so sweet and so generous. They brought back every ant and every bug that was possibly found in this park to bring home for Mommy to clean up. They were very good. Well, speaking about boating, Ron took to boating like a duck to water. I can't say the same for Rick. Unbeknownst to us, and without permission, we had a 21-foot skiff. And as I say, without permission, Rick took the boat out with a bunch of friends that knew even less than boating than Rick did. Well, fortunately, the gash in the boat that was made when the boat hit the dock, we were not aware of because it was in such a position and it wasn't, shall we say, boat threatening. And it wasn't until many, many years later when Rick and Ron and his sister Bon, who is not here with us tonight, when they were divulging secrets of their childhood, it came out about this boating adventure. But one thing is for damn sure, he never took the boat out again. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, yes. Our hero, Rick. We had a neighbor that Rick was friendly with, the son Todd. A real, well, to say that this kid was a pain in the ass is a mild understatement. Well, one day, Rick comes screaming into the house that this Todd is beating up Bonnie. So Rick comes running in screaming, and he sends Ronnie out to beat up Todd, and he stayed in the house. Showed even then, he had brains. Oh yeah. All three of them were in marching band. And when Bonnie and Rick, Bonnie was going into her senior year, Rick was going into his sophomore year. The high school, they were invited to attend what was called marching band camp. And they were invited to go to Ithaca College, which is in New York. And Dave and I decided that we would go as chaperones. Well, when Rick heard that we were going, The fact that he was pissed was beyond. He said, "You're not going because you're going to ruin my good time." And I said, "Okay, we're going." We packed up, Ron went with us, our dog Happy went with us, and I said to him, "We don't know you. We will not acknowledge you. We will not accept you that you belong to our family." That's it. So we would go our merry way, and we saw him at the different sessions. And one day, the marching band, this was in the summertime, and the marching band, they had to practice in the morning. It was hot as hell, and they were fainting all over the place. We had to go in town to get salt tablets to bring these kids back to life. He never acknowledged us, except he needed money. Need I say more?
Yeah,
Well, let's end this up. A couple of other things that are really not that important. But we had a hardware store up in New York. And Rick wanted to, make some money. And every Saturday, he would go into the store. And he had to get up pretty early. So Dave and he would go in early in the morning. And Dave would always relate how Rick would fall fast asleep in the truck. They'd get into the store, and Rick would go right upstairs to the office. He'd put his head down, and he would fall fast asleep. And Dave said it was like an alarm clock went on at 10 o'clock in the morning. Rick would come downstairs and start to work, and Dave would always proudly say, for the rest of the day, Rick did more work than any 2 employees could ever do. But I'll tell you very briefly what kind of a son Rick is. My parents had moved to Florida, and we were planning a visit. Will you shut that kid up while I'm talking? But we arranged to go to Florida about the same time that Rick had his Christmas vacation. He flew in on the shuttle from Boston. We met him at LaGuardia Airport. We gave him the keys to our station wagon and the keys to the store. And Rick worked his entire Christmas vacation while we went to Florida. Dave flew back to LaGuardia. Rick gave him back the keys to the truck and the keys to the store, and Rick flew out on a shuttle back to school. That's the kind of son that Rick has been and is, and we're very, very proud to call him our son.
This is Dwayne. I'm honored to follow your sister. It's amazing how many people good food can bring out, isn't it? And she's your younger sister. Oh, good food brings out a great crowd, doesn't it? Stand up, Rick. Come on. I was going to make a joke about his clothes, and this is like the nicest I've seen him in 9 years. They say clothes make the man, but in his case, that's because if you're naked, you have no influence on anybody. I've only known Rick for 9 years, so a lot of you have known him a lot longer. I don't know anything about the previous 50, but you might see a trend here. To Rick, I came in 2002. Rick was one of the first people I met. And the first thing he did was introduce me to resources. I became a supporter of resources. Then he comes, he says, you got to get on the board of this great organization, Sustainable Connections. So he gets me on the board of Sustainable Connections. Then, oh, it's Transition Whatcom. Come to my house and we'll raise some money for Transition Whatcom. Then he's then the next thing, oh, it's no, FutureWise. FutureWise. Rick is the Energizer Bunny, the Paul Revere, and the Captain Kirk of the movement in this town. He's wearing me out. Give me a break. It's like the last time he called me about a tool library, and I found the answer. Rick, I'm really busy and I'm really broke. Give me a break, Rick. Slow down. He's got a weekly column. He's got a radio show. He's got a reader board. He drives a hybrid car. He builds an innovative home. He bikes to work. Give me a break. You like quotes. Here's a Mark Twain quote. Few things are harder to put up with than the annoyance of a good example. We will never see the reader board on Northwest say, give it a rest. You know, I grew up Catholic, and they say there are saints and there are martyrs who have to live with them. I thought when he married Cindy, you know, Cindy on the surface, single mom, Maple Falls, likes to design houses. This guy's going to get domestic, right? He's going to start. No, now it's double barrel. Now Cindy's emailing me. Oh, you know, the great unleashing. You know, I want your money. I want your time. Give us a break. You know, I was a little bit intimidated by Rick because he went to MIT. But then I realized it's the Mental Institute of Tacoma. This guy is crazy. Just for starters, he told me to bring my potluck here on my bike. Right. You know, just first we know he's obsessive compulsive. I mean, look at this party, right? I got 5 pages of instructions. We know he's ADD because he's on every new topic that comes to town. I want to thank Charlie for not sending him to Death Valley National Park, because he'd have got inspired. He'd come back with some other crazy thing and we'd all have to jump on board. He is crazy. Ask the BIA. The only member that they actually kicked out of the organization, except for resources, and that was because of Rick too. You know, he's crazy. You know, he sits down and he says, I got this great idea. Well, whenever he says, you gotta check this out, I got this great idea, you better watch out. You know, but he had the idea that this Sustainable Connections thing could be a viable network of locally owned businesses committed to the environment and the community. Right, Rick? Yeah, that'll work. You know. So where does Rick get all of this? I think if you look around, what he's showing us tonight about what he does in nature, I really believe you're getting your inspiration from what you do out there. And in spite of everything I've said, I want you to never change and keep pushing. Thanks a lot.
Go, Sean! It's definitely a tough act to follow, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm Rick Rick's youngest son, Sean. And I was born here, lived here until I was 7, moved to Florida, lived there ever since, and I have about 2 minutes to speak on my behalf, my brother, and my future sister-in-law. So I'll keep it short, but it's definitely an honor to be up here with my father, and basically until tonight, I always heard about his involvement with the community, but I never believed him, and seeing everybody's support here and coming out really proved that it is true. So that's really the only reason I flew out here from Florida. So. But I mean, he's had even though I only seen him once a year, talked to him once a week over the last 17 years or so. I mean, he's had a great influence on me with everything, involved with helping out the community and just health and fitness. So really owe a great deal to him. And my brother, who's in Japan right now and is on his way back in a couple months, wanted me to read something on his behalf. So this is exactly from him. And his name is Oren, and he's engaged to Kendra, who I'll read a passage from her as well. But this is from Oren. God damn it, I wish I could be there right now, because taking the time difference between Japan and Hippiesville into account, it's about time to change your diaper for Amber. Unfortunately, my carbon footprintless, FARC-powered jumbo jet made of reused materials from both restores wouldn't start. Go figure. It is a pretty helpless feeling being grounded 8 million miles away from my father, who's turning 95 or whatever. I'm sure by the time I get back to the States, you'll have traded in your bike for a flashy new wheelchair. Over here in Japan, they have a saying that goes, Rick Dubrow loves the environment. Strange that they'd say that in English. I guess you have that effect on people. But they also say Rick Dubrow snores really loud on camping trips. I guess you could say that Japanese people have a love-hate relationship with you. Well, by now you're probably asleep. So I'll let you doze off and dream about nachos. Happy birthday, Dick. If the environment is as cool as you say it is, then I'm sure it'll sustain you for another 60 years. I promise not to miss your 120th. And now from Kendra. Hey Rick, this is Kendra, being transmitted through Sean from the planet of Japan. I don't want to take up too much time, so I'll keep it short and sweet, just like you. Hope you're having a blast at your environmentally friendly party. It sounds like a great time, and it's thoughtful of you to be thinking about the planet. You show Oren and me just how much you care about our planet every time we chat on Skype, because you're always huddled up with the lights off and you look like a shadow monster. Well, I don't want to keep you from your party, so I'll just let you get back to it. Don't you have a 7:30 bedtime? Have fun and happy birthday.